Hello, listeners. This is Abigail. It's really nice to be back on the podcast again. I'm sorry I wasn't on the last one. The reason was I had to have a medical procedure done. I wasn't cheating on you with another podcast or anything, but I was temporarily, physically unable to speak. So thank you very much to you for bearing with us for that. And thank you to Alice and Dev for covering. I'm still quite sort of swollen. But my black eyes have gone down a bit now, and I still have quite a few stitches in my face. But I'm getting better, and the operation was a success. And I'm pleased to say that I have now become Japanese.
Oh, you must excuse this rather odd mixture of styles, but I refuse to go entirely Japanese.
I have so many drops for this.
I want the operation done tonight.
I literally...
Oh, God, it still hurts. It's the same guy. Oh, no.
It hurts to laugh. Oh, no.
Abby, we're so happy for you that you had the operation done to become a ninja and to become entirely Japanese. and we're back.
Pleased to hear about the wife as well.
Absolutely. And we're back, and we're going to talk about a little movie that I like to call Skyfall.
Honestly, before we even say anything, it's worth noting here at the start that Orthodox Bond Twitter will have you know that this is the best Craig Bond film. So let's just hold that in our minds while we discuss this.
Not correct.
The movie that dares
to... The best Bond film.
The movie that dares to ask the question, yo, remember Dark Knight?
Yeah, what if Bond was that? I'm just gonna tell you my first thought when looking at this movie, which was 2 hours 23 minutes. Ooh. Fuck me running. But we begin with an out of focus Bond. You are supposed to recognize him by the shape. And we also begin in the Middle East, and you know it's the Middle East because we have the for legal reasons, so you don't get mad at us, the not azan. So instead, you get a muezzin going just like,
Just going, how you doing, everyone? Welcome.
Just filling time, not allowed to say the words in case
we're in
get
Constantinople.
Mad at us. We are in Constantinople / Istanbul, where Bond is there to I don't know, pick up some shit.
Hey, that's no one's business but the Turks.
Exactly. He's there to do some shit, right?
He's there to pick up a hard drive which has a list on it. As we will find out later, it contains a list of all the covert NATO agents.
Contains
it's a list for Mission
all of the
Impossible.
flight logs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The knock list. He's there to pick this up from an agent called Mark Ronson.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark Ronson has been immediately killed for his crimes. He's been shot.
He's not dead.
He's not quite dead.
That's true. He's the thing about Ronson is Mark Ronson is that he's no Mitchell, but he is, he does have a moment. He has a little moment because he's still alive. All of the other guys have been killed. And he's holding on to life, and Bond stops to try and save him a bit more, half-assedly doing direct pressure on his wound.
Mm.
While M, who is on the phone coordinating over fucking Microsoft Teams or whatever, is, doing her M thing of no, I don't care about human life. I care about the intelligence. Go get the intelligence. Go chase down the guy who took the intelligence.
As an opening, this is amazing. This is so good. It really starts off our theme because, listeners, you'll remember that Quantum of Solace ends with Bond being I am going to fill the void in my life left by Vesper's death with patriotism and with England. And straight away we start off with a really strong theme of what if you really loved your country, but your country really didn't give a shit about you and didn't love you
back? Not relatable to any of us.
No,
sure.
crazy fiction. Clearly the best character to do this with is a white male cop, Bond. But still,
and of course, the wages of patriotism are very slim indeed, and mostly death. But nobody remembers this opening, I've found, which is weird because it's quite good. Bond has to start chasing the guy who has shot Ronson. His name is Patrice. We don't find that out until later. He's another one of these very gritty. Well, yeah, exactly. He's yes. every other sort of like first order villain in a Craig Bond movie, which is because they have to do a shitload of stunts, the only people they get are stuntmen, and so they look like stuntmen. He looks like Mitchell again. The thing about us is we have people everywhere, but they're all the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they all look pretty much identical broadly.
Yes, yeah.
Also, Quantum not in this film, which I thought was a good choice.
Quantum's been defeated. Yeah.
Quantum,
Absolutely.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Just let it rest for a
Don't
while.
worry about it. But yeah, so he's also working with another agent, Eve, who picks him up in the Land Rover, and she's driving, and she's not a very good driver. And we get like sort of a vibe off of her that she's good, but like Bond, she's impetuous and stuff, and she hasn't really grown into it in the way that he has.
Not as experienced as the vibe. Like,
yeah, and I kind of like this. I kind of like their little banter in the car. You know,
the color grading here in the market scene is pretty all right. I'll give him this one. I'm going to complain about the color grading 40 to 50 times throughout this fucking. So.
They make Turkey look like an actual place, which is nice.
And we've remembered how to edit. So like immediately we're off to a better start than Quantum.
Yeah. So this guy Patrice Bond like helps Eve to like swerve him off the road. They crash, and then what happens
is
yeah,
he
pulls out the ultimate baller weapon. It's 100-round drum magazine on a fucking Glock.
Yes, it rules.
Pistol.
He's got a Glock 18. And he's just spraying everything with it, which is very funny.
So good.
But like the other thing is, the Turkish cops are onto them. The only 4 cops in Istanbul. They're all on bikes, and what happens is they come riding in. This guy Patrice sprays them with the Glock. And it becomes the Turkish police bike attack squad, because what they do, their one tactic is to drive the bike at him as fast as they can, get shot and fall off and hope the bike hits him. And it almost works still. So
they've got very limited training, unfortunately. The Istanbul police force.
This is an elite branch of the Turkish National Police. They train for years and years and years to ride up to the criminal at full speed, get shot in the face, fall off the bike, and hope the bike hits them.
It's perfect.
Yeah. So at this point, like, we get a bike chase, and this is just genuinely quite competently done. Like, at this point, you can tell it's quite competently done because my notes venture into the realm of the speculative, right? I get into the thing where I'm like, well, does it say something that, like, Bond is always, like, chasing people and espionage should mostly be about lying in wait? And does it say something about Britain feeling like it's on the back foot? No, of course it doesn't. It's an action movie. There's a chase. Grow up.
That's the point. I didn't even take a note regarding it.
Yeah. I'm reaching here.
Kind of overstays its welcome a little bit in that we have a car chase and then a motorbike chase and then they end up on a train and they have a fight on the train. I'm like, okay, you could have maybe done 2 out of the 3. But it's good.
They end up on the train. Bond has to, like, he commandeers an excavator which is on the train. And there's one thing that I really like. It's one little piece of acting from our stuntman playing Patrice, which is where Bond gets in the excavator and fires it up. There's just like a split second where he gives this kind of look as if to convey what silly bullshit is he about to do now, right? And I like that.
Come on.
It's like, for fuck's sake. So Bond climbs his way onto the train.
Sadly, also the first instance of what Abby will probably come to be more angry about than me, but what I've come to call that happened, ification of Bond, where Eve is on the fucking blower with M the entire time, right?
She's on Zoom, she's on Microsoft Teams, she's on Skype.
Yeah, she's chatting M, and M's like, "What's happened?" And Eve's like,
mute.
"Oh, they're on the train.
You're on mute. M, you're on mute. I can't. M."
Yeah. We did this bit. We did Spectre Zoom. We did that. And it's like, they're on the train. What do you mean they're on the train? I mean they're on top of a train. And then there's a beat, and then M's like, well, go get them. And I'm like,
but Bond with the excavator like throws some cars into her path. Oh, the fucking button noise. Not the button noise. Every scene has a little button noise at the end of it like that. That's just like, so that just happened.
Yeah, every scene in this film, and I don't know which film was patient zero on this, but like a venereal disease, it's now everywhere in Hollywood.
Maybe one of the Iron Men, I think.
It might have been. It's some kind of Marvel-y something, but every scene ends with a little like line, and I'm like, oh, just end the scene.
There is definitely a moment, right? The one moment that stuck out to me in this scene is that, like, so that just happened, is Bond throws some cars into Eve's path and she has to swerve around them. And M's like, what the hell was that? And she's like, I think it was VW Beetles. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum.
It's okay
Great,
when
fantastic.
it's kind of alright for the Bond franchise when it's in the middle of a scene, because that's the kind of thing that Bond does, and we've seen it done well.
Accepting this.
Yeah, but this is everyone talks like Bond.
Yeah, but when it happens at the end of the scene, it feels like the actors are using this scene for their show reel, and like there's not going to be the rest of the film. It just kills the film every time.
Quantum of sizzle.
They'll do a line, and then the final line of a scene will just be like, it'll literally be like well, that happened. And it plays that little like stinger, and I'm like, I will kill you. I will kill you.
Yeah. So Bond rips the back off the train. He jumps on at the last second, and he does a little like ba-da moment where he like straightens the cuffs of his shirt. And you would think this was. I didn't mind it, apart from the fact that it was ad-libbed, not in the script, which means the script is too dry if Craig is having to like make up Bond bits in the middle of it and be like,
I did mind the loving shot of his watch, which is quite clearly inserted into the scene.
Yeah,
it's extremely, yeah.
It's, well, the thing is, right, these movies are more product placement than they've ever been.
Oh yeah, this one's
so consequently, you get
expensive watches.
Like all the time, you get like a nice long shot of the Omega.
Expensive watches.
We have a fight on the train, and then Eve is there. She's got a rifle. She can shoot one of them, but she's like, I might hit James. And then Bond, and then Emma's like, take the shot. And Eve fires and shoots Bond off a bridge.
Yeah, perfect miss.
Well done,
absolutely.
Babe. Well done.
Nails Bond in the shoulder.
Literally just takes him straight down.
I got 3 notes with the list.
3 notes. First is Bond teleport.
Yes,
because
he does
teleport onto the roof.
Yep, teleport. I wrote this down as first Bond teleport because you had warned me ahead of time and I was counting them.
Bond learns to teleport in this movie, and that's cool.
Yes.
And the second thing is, this is color graded the same as the Istanbul scene to like establish continuity, right? But the Constantinople scene, it was graded to like boost the yellows of the market and like really make that pop. But now they're somewhere where there are straight up no yellows. So it just looks drab as fuck.
Yeah, they're trying to make the grass look yellow.
The guy's teeth. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah. There's a perfect shot of him going over a waterfall completely like inert, which I like a lot. Just end the movie there. Fantastic. But no, what we get instead is the song. And you know the song because it's fucking Adele. It's Skyfall. It's
Skyfall. You know this fucking
She's
song.
not a turf,
Abby
it turns out.
charted so high, and ruined Bond.
Yeah. You and Abby have been working on a thesis about
it's
Bond
Abby's
themes.
bit.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this song is good, but it ruins the next two because the next 2 Bond themes are just this song again.
Yeah.
I literally, I almost died laughing when you said that the next one is "The Sky Is on the Fall." So
no Sky to Fall. Absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
It was it's
a good song,
The Sky
but like,
is on the
do
fall.
something else.
it is a good song, but strangely, it's better in my memory than it was re-listening to it. I
That's
remember
because
it going
the version they use in the
harder than
film
this.
is edited, whereas the actual track that Adele released, it has like more room to breathe and it is better.
Yeah, I see. I
true.
remember the like tracked version where Adele is giving it the full Shirley Bassey, right? But she's not in this. In the opening credits, they like tamp it back down a bit,
Yeah,
and
so
it
you can read
feels
the
a bit more
credits.
muted. Yeah,
Also, our theme for the credits is, yo, what if you got shot?
The theme of the credits is so fucking hard. All of the symbolism in the titles is literally like Bond facing shadows that he is casting and like reflections of himself.
yeah.
Like, okay.
He's a dark reflection of himself.
Like a
We're
dark
doing that
reflection
again.
of Bond, isn't it? That's crazy.
Well, that's
That's
better
fucking
than
normal.
last time where, as you said, Dev, the theme of Quantum's credits was, yo, what if there was a desert?
That was good. Let's go back.
I mean, the thing that I wrote down is that like every Craig opening title set since Casino Royale, which was an anime opening, which was good, has been now we're gonna kill this cunt, and people still were surprised when they got to No Time to Die. I do not understand this.
Spoilers.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
I
spoilers.
guess.
We got him. Yeah, look, wait for the fucking next movie, because all of the symbolism in the opening titles for Spectre is, yo, what if there was an octopus?
Yes.
So, like, get ready for that.
So we go now to a place which I have now captioned London, MI6, near the TF live show venue, 2nd of March, right across the river. You can just walk down. It's Vauxhall Comedy Club, probably.
It's Vauxhall Comedy Club. It's right there.
So Em is
seeing this?
Yeah.
Emma's in the office. She has this is an example of what we call themes, baby's first themes. She has a stupid little nonce fucking Royal Timothy Dalton ass porcelain Churchill bulldog on her desk, and it's like it symbolizes her and patriotism and being old fashioned and stuff. And the old ways. Who else is there though?
Ralph Fiennes is there.
Ralph Fiennes is there. Ralph Fiennes here playing the last cishet man to wear trouser braces, and he's got the like button style too, so they're yanking the trousers all the way up his asshole. Yeah, he is playing Gareth Mallory, who is the head of like the Intelligence and Security Committee. And boy howdy, do they lean heavily on the fucking Mallory. I mean, yeah, basically every time you look at him, he just goes, "This is him," and
just like, "This is M."
Yeah,
yeah, just sketches him out. I do find it very funny that like next M, and that's not a spoiler. You know he's fucking meant to be that from the first time he's on screen. Next M is called Gareth.
Yeah, that is fun.
That to me is fun. You know, Steve M.
But he tells M, he's like, "I'm the chair of the Intelligence Committee. You're in the shit, and you should retire because you lost that list of agents." And M is like, "More like chair of the dumb committee. Fuck you. I'm not doing it."
Remember how Quantum of Solace had some interesting ideas about like M's like contempt for oversight? What if we made those 30 to 50% dumber? And so he's just like, I think maybe you should have some oversight. She's like, fuck you.
Fuck you. No, I refuse. Goodbye.
It's
like, all right.
It's really relying on Judi Dench's acting here. Also, Ralph Fiennes.
And Ralph Fiennes. He does a good performance. I like him in this.
He does.
No, he's good in this. He starts off very sort of contemptuous of the concept of being a spy, which is how you know that he's going to be M. So that they can give him a character arc where he becomes M more and more every day.
Yeah. That was the moment when he truly became M.
No, I'll say that later. Don't worry. We get that moment later.
And then Judi Dench gets an email from the Joker.
That's fucking right, she does.
She's
Holy
driving
shit.
back to the office and she gets a spooky email going, penis enlargement pills for sale, horny local MILFs in your area. Click here to win. And then Tanner traces this back to her laptop in her office in MI6's headquarters in Vauxhall Cross. And so she's like, okay, we need to go back there immediately. And then they get stopped on the bridge by the cops just in time to see the MI6 building get blowed the fuck up.
Yeah, the MI6 building explodes, and I was like, fuck me, that's right by near where the TF live shows are.
Yeah. It's right across the river, and then you if you're heading south, you turn right.
It's under the bridge. There's an entrance under that.
Exactly.
I remember there being some controversy when this film came out about that shot. Because people were like, you can't fucking show MI6 building getting blown up. Like,
well, it had happened too. Like,
he fucking did it. What do you
not only in Bond movies, in fucking the exploding cash in Tomorrow Never Dies, but also in between that movie and this movie, the real IRA had fired a missile at it from a boat in the Thames, a thing which seems like it should have been more cool than it was. Hit nothing, damaged no one. But, you know, it had happened. In any case.
You're calling yourself the real IRA, you know, you're like...
Might have been the official IRA.
Who's
counting?
Whatever.
Who's counting? The name of this scene, by the way, in the fucking IMDb thing that I used to keep pace with my notes is MI6 has a bad day. Yeah, sure.
Fuck, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. true,
You got to try and fucking describe the scene without spoilers, and so you're like, bad day. It
Rough
kills.
day at the office.
It kills 6 agents, right? And Bond, we now see, is alive, and the way in which we see he's alive is we return to our favorite instrument of measurement, the pussy clock.
No, we don't.
I think Dev has a point
don't.
here in that we don't count. We don't count if it's 0.00. We don't count it.
Well, that's sort of my point, right? Is that like the pussy clock is like at 0 minutes to midnight here. It is 0.00 because Bond is reintroduced having sex with a woman,
Vesper
a woman who has no lines.
She's only
She
in 2
is
shots.
silent throughout. She exists to be fucked.
Yep, I know that you want it. She
I do.
exists very much. Here you go.
Women exist to be fucked.
Yeah, there we go.
Just a statement of the movie.
Misogynist.wav.
I can't play drops of Abby. She's on the recording. It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to a casual listener. You'd just be like, why did
Since
you say
when
that?
do we have a casual listener?
That's true. Competitive listening only.
That's right. Ranked.
Yeah, we
ranked
don't
listeners.
Dress
count
code for this podcast is
0.00 because
black
like
tie.
Connery had one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is where I'd like to bring up something that I think has been an absolute scourge on modern cinema, which is the fake script. Skyfall did not have a fake script, but what they did do is they had an extremely tightly guarded script, such to the point where the actress playing this lass, who is quote unquote a Bond girl, let's be honest here with that one, didn't know what she was going to be doing until she turned up on set that day.
Getting fucked, mostly.
no.
Getting fucked by Daniel Craig. And it's like, what? Who gives that much of a fuck? Who's gonna read the script to Skyfall and then be like, cool, I don't need to go see it?
Oh, we're gonna spoil Skyfall and be like, he has sex with a woman.
I feel bad for her though.
Yeah.
It happened to so many extras and like small parts, but like they just basically didn't print any like physical scripts.
No, I mean, I feel bad
Because
for
they
her
wanted to protect their shit.
because it's a scene with physical intimacy in, and like you need to
you wanna
clear
be
that with an
warned.
actress agent. You need to talk to the intimacy coordinator. Like, that's I'll be sad if that is the case.
Ladies, they call me the intimacy coordinator. So, but
That's
we
a
don't
real
know
job
where
title.
Bond
That's an
is.
essential job
I
title
know. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
So
Oh,
we don't know where Bond is, but he's like off the grid somewhere, right?
But what kind of beer is he drinking? If only there was a way to know.
Yeah, he has a Heineken, right? So you know
He does.
that's a good beer to drink. He looks like shit. He's
It's
like all
graded
gaunt
so
and stuff.
fucking yellow again.
Yeah, he's like on pills.
It's jaundiced.
His basically his only way of making money is winning bets in a bar where he has to drink a shot with a scorpion on his hand. Now Bond, of course,
that what it
got
was?
over his fear of scorpions in North Korea because they stung the shit out of his dick and balls.
That's
with
right.
it.
That's right.
And now he's developed sort of a Mithridatic immunity to scorpions, so he can just win every bet. But while he's doing this, he hears the news and he's like, my fucking sense of duty has kicked in. I have to go back and I have to try and help MI6 because the headquarters got blew up.
Yeah, he executes another Bond teleport.
Yeah, well, first we cut
Instant
back to M,
transmission.
and M is in like a sort of a very bare undercroft with these 6 flag-draped coffins, right? And I always found that imagery of said flag-draped coffins very impactful, especially as someone who, growing up, could anticipate their like best ideal future as being one of those coffins because, hey, transition is impossible, so that's the best you can hope for.
That's right.
It's quite a powerful piece of imagery to deploy, and the movie does it in service of kind of fuck all. It squanders this immediately.
Yeah, because M is standing by the coffins, and then Tana comes in and says, "It's time to go, Mom." And M says out loud, "I'm gonna find who did this." And I'm like, yeah, I know that's what you were thinking.
You can't just have your characters say how they feel.
Yeah, it's like you didn't need to say that out loud. Like you need to. This is Judi Dench. Like she is capable of acting that without saying it.
Conveying some quiet determination or whatever. Yeah, no, absolutely. So do you remember in Casino Royale when Bond broke into M's house?
Yes, I remember.
And when she was like, if you ever break into my house again, I'm going to have you flayed. I'm going to have a guy whip the shit out of your cock and balls with a knotted rope. I'm going to, things of this nature. He fucking breaks into her house again. And she doesn't mention it, so I guess she just forgot. And
She's got a lot on her plate right now, I reckon.
Yeah.
that's true. That's true. And they have
It's not-
possibly the least earned line of the movie, right? Because they're meant to like be commiserating. Like she's like, I don't know why you even came back. And his fucking line to her is right, like,
You know the rules of the game. You've been playing it long enough. We both have.
Maybe too long.
dude, we saw you become a 00
Yeah,
two
I have
movies
a point
ago.
here.
It was like 3 weeks ago in movie time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he becomes a 00, right? And we get his first mission, and then we get his second mission, which canonically takes place like 10 minutes later. And then they're
Third
like,
day at work. I've been doing this
Third-
shit for too long, man. He's
third
just
fucking
like
Craig
me.
movie, they're just like, you're an old bitch now, idiot. So my headcanon, my belief is that the first two were a prequel, and then in between Quantum of Solace and Skyfall, every single other Bond movie took place.
The worst part is that actually fits with a later beef that I have with the continuity,
Yeah.
so I'm so annoyed.
We do get a nice line though where Bond resents M for getting him shot and says, Ronson didn't make it, did he? And she says no. And I'm like, okay, good. We've got this theme of like, what if your country didn't love you back? Again, really
Agent
good.
Bruno Mars still okay? So in order to
No, he
get-
caught a grenade for you. So ashamed that I know that.
Fuck, that was good. Moving.
Yeah, so in order to come back to active service, he has to do a bunch of tests, but he has to do them in MI6's new war headquarters. And to really hammer this baby's first theme shit home, Tanner gets to like
they
walk him through, right?
They get Rory Kinnear to do it.
Yeah, Rory Kinnear and his concave ass go on screen, and they go, you know, this is part of the old war rooms that Churchill used to use. It's a historical parallel. Because it's like war, and she's like Churchill. You can tell by the fucking little dog that she has.
They draw attention to the dog every time it's in a shot. They like put the camera pointed at the dog, and like Bond will mention the dog. And you're like, we see the dog.
Yeah, they even get a full scene where they're like, he like takes him into the office full of like nameless cunts working on computers, and then goes, "Welcome to the new MI6." And it's like, okay, I can see one of the two movies this direction is being pulled in immediately, right? And that's, you're trying to do a foundation, because Judi Dench is getting too old now. You're trying to set up a foundation for the next fucking dozen Bond movies. Where
You
he
know
got, like,
they are. Oh, it's dreadful,
Didn't
because
need
like
it.
it's not worth what like Skyfall. Hey guys, have you watched Skyfall? Spoilers for Skyfall. Eva's Moneypenny. There's a new Q. There's a new M.
Yep.
50 more years of Bond, baby. We're ready. Let's go.
Ticking off
Let's
the
go.
boxes.
It makes me want to die.
So,
And it made Daniel Craig want to die as well.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's a shame because
yes.
we've got a great theme so far, and as the movie goes on, we're just going to just discard more and more of it.
So Bond has been fucked up by being shot, right? We're meant to think that this is because Moneypenny has shot him, and he runs into Moneypenny as well, and they have a little bit of banter. He doesn't bear her any ill will. Fine,
That's nice.
but he has to do the physical, right?
Yeah,
He
we
does
do get a banter, and she has this line.
I'm assisting Gareth Mallory in the transition.
And good for him.
Yeah. Actually, Gareth Mallory being trans would explain the trouser braces. It's just one of those sartorial decisions. Doesn't work on cis men. Doesn't work. So
Doesn't work on cis men.
So he has to do the fucking medical again, and we see him like jogging, and Tanner's like briefing him the whole way through, like it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to pass. And he does the like pull up bit, and as he's doing it, he's getting more and more like exerted, and Tanner's kind of like saving him face. It's like, oh, we can do this later. And Bond sort of casually plays this off as, yeah, let's. Waits until they get out of the room, stood totally stock still, and then collapses. And I liked this as a little character moment.
Yeah, me too.
It's good.
I dislike this as a like, this is presented as one of the ways in which Bond is like, that's an exemplar of masculinity. Is you just fucking bottle that shit up. And also, crucially, fucked up Bond, right? Like Bond who is barely coping, Bond who has been shot, punished Bond, Beard of Sorrow Bond, is in better shape than anyone I have ever seen in my fucking life.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things, right? This is firmly in the column of like movies that give cis dudes body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Right? Because
If you let Riley watch this, he would actually have a heart attack.
Definitely.
Like James Bond, Daniel Craig, Meat Mountain Daniel Craig does like 79 pull-ups and then goes, I can't believe I didn't make the 80th.
I'm
It's like,
so
fuck
fucking
off.
weak. Yeah,
Shut up, cunt.
It was kind of weird that you guys made me do these tests before I came back on the podcast.
Well, we also get him to meet
The word association was good.
Dr. Kaufman, the MI6. I could psychoanalyze you from Stuttgart, the MI6 psychoanalyst.
Yeah,
He plays
because
some,
it's
like,
time to introduce our third theme, which is parental trauma.
Yes, yeah. So he tests Bond on some little word associations, which are fun, you know, like a murder, employment, a country, England,
nicely
shit like
written
that,
scene.
whatever. And then he hits him with Skyfall. It's the name of your childhood home, James. How do you feel
James,
about that?
Skyfall is the name of your childhood
James,
home.
It's the name of the. How do you feel about your childhood?
And Jimmy
What do you
Bond
think about when you jerk
goes,
off?
When
Do you
jerk
imagine
off,
yourself as a woman when you
imagine
jerk off?
yourself as a secret agent.
Do you dress as a secret agent when you jerk off?
Yeah, he's an auto bondophile.
He's
There's
attracted to
also-
himself as James Bond.
Bond, you have to have been living as an agent for 2 years before I can prescribe you this Walther.
James, we have issued you with your agent recognition certificate. You'll have to bring this with you.
But crucially, you will not be allowed into agent spaces without it.
So I mean, much like me, after his body not doing what it wants and having had a bad experience with a gender psychologist, Bond immediately starts cutting himself. He goes into the bathroom and he just does a bit of self-surgery. He does, like, I mean,
He does do that, yeah.
don't do that. But he's like, the reason why I'm weak, brackets, massive.
Weak, but in like a huge way.
Yeah, there must be some, like, inner poison sapping my strength. And he's fucking right, too. It's called testosterone. It's called depleted uranium. That's not how depleted uranium works, but
Not
the
at all.
point is...
He pulls out his own, like, because he's taken L's that day, right? So he pulls
Yes.
that out, and then, like, he pulls the remnants of the bullet out, and then, like, hands it off to some cunt.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like,
Analyze
get this
this shit,
analyzed.
yeah.
Check this shit out. See what's going on.
Yeah, what's going on with
Also,
this?
I'm fine now.
Yeah, and the lesson is...
Oh, I'm vibing again.
Patrice has just been spaffing around a sizable proportion of, like, whatever evil guy's budget because he's just got a couple of drum magazines loaded full of depleted uranium bullets.
He's just shot like 80 fucking depleted uranium bullets into
Istanbul is
Turkish
so much
cops.
more radioactive
Yeah.
now. They're going to have to bury those cops in lead coffins.
It's like the fucking plan from The World Is Not Enough succeeded.
But then,
Istanbul just completely irradiated.
having had this disastrous series of tests and then this really bad meeting with the gender psychiatrists, M says...
Oh, yeah. M fucking says...
Seems you've passed.
Again,
Seems you've passed.
I also got
Seems
that.
you've passed.
What did she say after that?
Seems you've passed.
By
well...
the skin of your teeth.
She says,
By
seems
the
you've passed
skin
by
of
the
your
skin of
teeth.
your teeth. And my notes say, when me and my mum go out to lunch.
Why does your mum not pass very well? So
No, it's a perfect
That's what she
scene,
says to
right?
me. No, never mind.
also, there's a bit, right, Moneypenny takes Bond up to the office, right, to have this little conversation. And like I enjoy Moneypenny in this. I like
I like
their
it too.
banter, but she's been suspended from field duty for killing James Bond. And
Oh, whatever.
as punishment, they have made her M's secretary. And I feel like that reveals more than it means to, right? Like, that's, I mean, Moneypenny, even in the Connery movies, was like competent at what she did. Like, she was a secretary and that was lower status, but like, that was her thing. Whereas,
Yeah, like she just was a secretary. That was her job. It's not
Whereas here, it's like, oh, it's something we can just put you into because you've been bad. It's like your second line sort of like employment at MI6. And I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, apart from
But in
anything
any
else, I feel
case-
like it's going to lead to admin problems because she wasn't trained in
Well, that too. Yeah,
Yeah, you've not
absolutely.
been
She doesn't
trained
know how to
to
file
do this
shit. Absolutely. She doesn't know how to work an intercom. So also another question, because this movie, the cold hands of this movie reach into the future and make the following Bond movies worse. So one question I had for this, Bond has been dead, right? That's been the thing. Everybody who talks to him is like, why didn't you just fucking stay dead, you useless cunt? Why didn't you like pretend to be dead? Mallory tells him like to his face, most people don't get a clean break like that. Why didn't you just leave?
Yeah, and he's right.
But crucially, and they've sold all of his other stuff, crucially, they have not reassigned 007 as a title. It's still waiting for him. They have retired his jersey. And so when M tells him that he has passed by the skin of his teeth,
Seems you've passed.
that's right, she gives him his old number back immediately. Which then leads me to, well, why did you fucking put that plot in No Time to Die then?
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, so anyway.
I mean, the thing is, what I enjoy about Moneypenny and her like dog shit origin there is that they were like, okay, we need new Moneypenny, right? We need new desk eye candy. But check this out. What if she was a girl boss and she just had to go on the desk because she killed James Bond?
Yeah, she go boss too hard and she fucking shot Bond in the shoulder.
And it's such a ridiculous way to have your cake and eat it, where you're like, okay, we need someone whose entire job is on the desk, but we need her to be cool for like 10 minutes at the start.
Yeah.
So we can go,
and it's
wow,
like
strong female. Anyway.
Talking yourself in circles to be like, it's not strong female to have a secretary and to have someone who like that's their job. It's strong female to do something else, fuck it up, and then become a secretary.
Should have just had Moneypenny be a man. That would have been fun.
There we go.
What a Moneypenny, it'll be good.
Mitchell Penny.
And we get another fucking stupid button because M's like, yo, we found Patrice. Go and get him in Shanghai. Well
Check
done, you
out my
passed all your
dog.
tests. Go and report to Twink
Look at
Q.
this dog.
Look at the
Go
dog.
and report
Themes
to
of the
Twink
movie.
Q.
And then
Brackets homosexual.
when Bond leaves, Tanner is just like, I didn't know Bond passed the test. And then Judi Dench is just like, he didn't.
Yeah, I can actually construct by pressing 4 buttons here the exact scene, which is...
Seems you've passed.
I didn't know Bond passed.
He didn't.
And that's the scene.
That's it. Perfect little like 3-panel comic. So
Awful.
Bond still wearing his beard of sorrow goes to the National Gallery in London where he meets femboy Q, Ben Whishaw. And the thing about Q, right, is that he's gay, not explicitly stated, although it will be later, and he's also young, like he's too young. Now
He's 35.
yeah, Ben Wishaw's like
not that young.
35 in this
fucking
They make a
5
really big
years
deal out of how
older.
young he is, and it's like, this, my man is like 35.
Yeah.
Adult man.
And again, like Q tries to like
Older than us.
his line for Bond is like, here is a gun, here is a little tiny radio. We don't really go in for like exploding pens anymore. Remember the previous movies? Weren't they silly? This is a gritty new thing. So okay, fine. We've put those down as like stakes.
Okay, cool.
Great.
Yeah,
It's a decision you can make. We're gonna go back on it in an hour, but like, I wish I'd
exactly.
stuck to it.
This is like pulling in the one direction, which is we're trying to like redefine Bond for a like generation and make it slightly more gritty and realistic. But we expect
Because
to
we've
make a lot
seen
more
Batman
of these.
Begins.
I love to make gritty and realistic reimaginings of things. That's so fucking cool to me. I love it when I see something that I saw as a kid and then I'm just like, oh wow, what if he was...
What if
What
he
if
was
this
odd?
was sucked?
Yeah. So,
What if instead of being fun, this was bad? Like, that
I've
would
been
be cool,
enjoying the
wouldn't
more
it?
realistic
Go ahead,
tone
sorry.
of the previous two, but like, I wish
that's
the
only
previous
because
two
we've
were
been
good.
making us. That's only because you've been making you watch the more movies as like punishment.
Well,
like,
no, it's
so-
like I don't really prefer one or the other. I just prefer the movie to be good and for the story to be good. Like whatever your tone is, okay. My issue with this film is that it sets up a really interesting story, and then by about an hour in, we've jacked it in.
Yeah, well, we get an interesting 10 minutes, right? Because Bond goes to Shanghai. We give you a little bit more body dysmorphia because he's like fucking swimming laps in the hotel pool, gets out of the pool, the largest back I've ever seen on a human. And then he
Taking
just
up
kind
the
of like...
entire wide side
Yeah,
of the pool.
yeah, and he just kind of like sighs for a bit like he's out of breath, and it's completely unbelievable because he looks like a fucking slab of beef. He looks like Wagyu. He's not fucking like out of breath off of that
They
shit.
should have had him look like shit. Like, what do you...
Yeah.
Just
Well, I
make
mean,
him
I
look
don't wanna,
like
like-
shit.
I was going to say I don't want to endanger Daniel Craig's health by going like, oh, you have to cut 200 pounds to do this
Just
movie.
have to look normal.
But on the other hand, making these movies was fucking endangering Daniel Craig's health at the best of times because he blew out 6 joints making this shit.
The other thing is, and this is a KJV deep cut, is they got permission to shoot in China again. They finally got it back, which is why they're in Shanghai. And immediately everyone, the Bond writing team were like, I remember all the ideas we had when we wanted to shoot in China before for fucking License to Kill. Why don't we do those, right? So they again floated the fucking motorcycle chase on the Great Wall.
Oh my
Again, they
God.
floated the fight in the fucking tomb.
They're gonna get him eventually. They're gonna
Again,
do
they
him.
were both like, wait, no, this is stupid as fuck.
So what we get instead by accident is a genuinely very good 10 minutes of Bond doing the only spy shit he will do in the movie. There is one joke I can make about this, which is he's told when the guy's coming in and he's like, right, I must get the most fucking ridiculous disguise I can possibly outfit myself
Full
with.
hitman shit, yeah.
Full hitman shit. And the
He
full
puts a
hitman
hat
shit,
on.
he puts a hat and some sunglasses on and he's like, he's a chauffeur or whatever.
It's
Unrecognizable.
like a customized character in the cutscene. It's really funny.
He's so fucking obvious. But
He's so huge.
we get a lot of like neon lit, very quiet, like dialogueless scenes of Bond like following this guy through traffic, and it's quite meditative, and it almost manages to recapture the highs of the first scene of Casino Royale because he's doing like spy shit, and it feels quite like cold and lonely, and I like this.
Sam
I like
Mendes
this
does
vibe.
really direct like a very pretty looking film. It's really
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
But he follows
This
Patrice
is-
to a
yeah.
skyscraper where he is about to shoot somebody with a sniper rifle. We don't know who.
Yeah, we see him like acting very methodically, like from Bond's perspective. It's very nice. I love a good shot of someone assembling a rifle.
I do love assembling a rifle.
One of my favorite genres of cinema. I love
You're
a
gonna
shot
love
of someone.
the tuxedo, which is our next
Shut
bonus
up.
film.
No. And we also, I also love a shot of a guy cutting a perfectly circular hole in a thick glass window, which he does. So we see him aiming across the street. There's a shitload of like weird jellyfish LED billboards going on, and it's sort of like a Hall of Mirrors effect.
I really like this scene, and this shot is so good, and the fight he has against Patrice is just the two of them silhouetted against like a
It's
big
so
neon
good.
sign.
It's like, you know, they were so proud of it.
And since they have nowhere to hide, right, they can't fucking like do cuts because they've got one shot. It's one camera angle. They need to be silhouetted by this. So the fucking choreography is legitimately really good.
It's really nice.
Because they couldn't hide it with cutting.
It's like my thing is like, okay, they're really, really proud of the set here, right? Like it's not subtle in the cinematography, but it doesn't need to be. It's good, and it kind of stands on its own merits, and it doesn't need like a little button on the end to go like, so James Bond just fought a guy in a fucking like Hall of Mirrors
It's not a
jellyfish
jellyfish.
thing.
I mean, it should have been an octopus. Really, that would have been good. But never mind. But Bond doesn't save the target. I mean, Patrice is hitmanning a guy. He kills him, and also there's a sexy lady in the room with the assassin who, before Patrice shoots, looks over to where where Patrice is, and Bond sees this. It's a nice little detail.
There's a wonderful little detail that I liked is when they start fighting, when Bond jumps them and they start to fight, you can see the two bodyguards in there and the woman like react very calmly to the guy being shot, and the two guys just pick him up and carry him away. And you go, that's been quite well planned. And then a second later you go, oh, if you could do all of that, why didn't you have one of them shoot him? In any
Oh,
case,
shit, yeah.
One of the bodyguards, and I would be remiss to not mention this, one of the bodyguards is a massive guy, just a truly huge guy. His character is not named. His name is Severine's bodyguard in the script, but he is played by a man called Tank Dong, which is so cool.
great, fantastic.
Perfect name.
So like having like fought the guy, he like throws him out the window, and he does the like dangly out the window, tell me who you work for thing that Bond has done like 50 times. It's his only method of interrogation.
Oh, this got.
Because we've seen Batman Begins where he does that.
Yeah. But because we've seen that Patrice is like a professional, he doesn't fucking tell him shit. He just lets go of him, and he just, falls off and bounces. Severine, this woman, looks across, sees Bond, they make eye contact, and then Bond teleports the second time, and he's just is gone.
This is baffling because what they do is they have shot like from behind Bond, where Bond is on the ground, you can see that Severine has seen him across like the gap between the skyscrapers. It does a shot from Severine's perspective of him sat on the ground, and then one of like a close-up of her face, and then back to the second angle again, and he's gone.
It's to show you he's good at hiding.
Look away.
Yeah,
she didn't look away. She would have just seen him get up.
He does the Batman thing. But
he also finds a casino chip in Patrice's bag.
All of Bond's leads are gone, so he looks through his like rifle thing, and what he finds in there is a little casino chip from Macau. Now, my thing here is Patrice is set up as like such a good, methodical, professional assassin, and he leaves that shit in his luggage. I mean, like, he may as well have like ripped open his shirt to reveal a t-shirt reading "next location" as he was falling.
I went to Komodo Dragon Casino in Macau, and all I got was this assassination contract.
I saw the Komodo Dragon.
Yeah, was that a fucking Komodo dragon?
He had a little Komodo dragon key ring. So at this point,
if they had to do this, because if they hadn't done this, he would have nothing to go on, and they'd have to be like, all right, we introduced some fucking poisoned apes into
He was
money supply
in Macau. So what?
Meanwhile, back in London, somebody has posted the first 5 names on the knock list to
in
YouTube.
London town.
Yeah, but the way this is revealed,
your mum on a computer.
Em has a boomer moment where her laptop gets hacked with some like little bullshit, and it rolls up like a slot machine, and click here to claim your prize, and she fucking clicks it.
It's click here to claim your prize, and then a shot of her face, and then just like
slowly
moving the mouse
over.
Click it. And I'm like, you fuck it, come on.
Yeah, and
going to like a download website and just clicking every download link, like one of these will be it.
She's watching fucking Mad Mission 3 is what she's doing.
She immediately calls Tanner. Is like, Tanner, my computer's gotten very slow again.
Tanner, how do I open PDF?
Why has my background changed?
The other thing I'd like to bring up, and it's literally never remarked upon within the canon of this movie because they're setting it up for the second, but since it's not remarked upon, we can talk about it as something ridiculous, which is not Safin. What's his cunting name?
Which
Mr. Silva?
one? What's this?
Silva.
Yeah,
Silva.
Silva's
Silva's thing. Every one of these things that he sent to M has had a skull on it, but not just a skull.
A sugar skull.
It's a Dia de los Muertes skull,
and
it's just never remarked upon. Like, none of them are even mentioned. No. And it's like, well, that's quite a clue, isn't it?
Yeah, you think this guy might be a Mexican, maybe? But in any case,
oh god.
So Bond goes to the fucking Golden Dragon Casino in Macau, which is out in the middle of the lake.
Moneypenny's also here now.
Yeah, Moneypenny shows up, and at this point, because so your dad got the poker set when Casino Royale came out, but that's been a while ago, and he's gotten bored of it. So now they need to sell him something else. You need to get him something else for Christmas. Why don't you get him a shaving kit with a straight razor?
Fuck me. Jesus Christ. Have you looked at the statistics on straight razor sales after this?
Yeah, a bunch of people fucking cut their noses off and shit because of this. Get a shavette. I
just got back from doing that.
You can get a safety razor that comes on a fucking straight razor handle if you want to feel
Abby, you don't have to cut your nose off. I know you're trying to look Japanese, but that's just a stylistic choice they make in manga.
Oh shit!
Japanese people have noses.
I watched too much anime as a child, and now I can't be happy unless I have an incredibly pointy chin. Turning up to my surgeon no nose, just give me 2 lines, thanks.
So Moneypenny comes in,
huge tits, just
and
unreasonable.
She is there to have sex with him, right? That's the thing, because they've had some banter, and because Naomi Harris is a good actor, it feels earned, right? It feels fine. It's fine. But she shaves him in an erotic way. Did nothing for me until the bit where she tells him to hold still and then calls him a dog at the end. But
we
horses
another
for courses.
Stupid button about dogs and tricks. We also learn a little bit about Gareth Mallory, who is a good guy because he was deployed in Czech's Notes, Northern Ireland. Yeah,
better than that. He's not just a bureaucrat because he was a lieutenant colonel in the SAS and he was captured by the IRA for 3 months. Now, my question, I have 2 questions in fact, because Bond goes, he's a bureaucrat. And then Moneypenny deploys that little factoid on him. And at the end, Bond starts saying it with her like he already knew, because he's not fucking allowed to not know anything. He's not allowed to get
My
taught
notes
anything by a woman.
Simply say, Chokirala.
I mean,
You wee bastard. Listen, I just think it's very strange that that's the method you would use to be like, no, he's a good guy, I promise.
I like
He was
lieutenants colonel
in
who
the
weren't
black
captured. Why, how does a
He
fucking lieutenant
smeared
colonel,
yogurt
a
on his
field
tie
grade
one time,
officer,
so-
get captured in the field? And how do they stay captured for 3 months in Northern Ireland? And how is that a good thing in relation to his... Anyway, so...
Northern Ireland, not a very big place, as I understand.
No.
It's a series of things. Anyway, the reason why you know that Eve, they haven't revealed she's Moneypenny yet, the reason how you know that she is a character that you're supposed to care about in a female manner is that she doesn't actually have sex with Bond, which is nice. But fortunately, there is another woman who will in this scene.
Yeah, because we've got to go to the Komodo Dragon Casino and visit Tank Dong.
Tank Dong and the Komodo Dragon. Perfect scene.
I mean, genuinely,
Top to
right?
bottom.
Yeah, he goes into the Komodo Dragon Hotel, walks over a bridge over a pit which has a Komodo Dragon in it, and he goes, "Oh, it's a Komodo Dragon," sort of in a casual, offhanded way.
Yeah, notes it.
Notes that shit. Cashes his chip, which is like, "I have completed this assassination contract. Please pay me." And then the mistress of the house comes out, Severine, and I simply wrote down here. Listen, right? I love an evil, black lipstick wearing, cigarette smoking femme. Need her to murder me. Right, we'll come back to this, right? But that's
amazing
important.
Nails.
It's important that you know
really good.
that's what Severine is introduced as. That's what she's like. She's
vibe.
this femme fatale. Right?
Yeah.
So we immediately have to take that away
That's a
from
bad
her,
thing about
right?
Severine.
Now, immediately, it's very important that we see her like degraded, powerless, and afraid, thus rendering this movie more regressive than fucking GoldenEye.
Yeah, it's
Because
a
they
shame.
never did that shit to Xenia Onatop. Xenia Onatop went out like a fucking girl boss, getting like hoisted by her own petard.
Yeah.
There wasn't like a
She did get
scene.
hoisted.
Yeah, there wasn't a scene in the next bit where like Pierce Brosnan came up to her and he was like, "I see you were fucking abused as a child. How does that make you feel?"
The scene is so well acted, though, which is what makes it a shame, because Bond says to her, he's like, "Hey, I want to meet the boss," and she is visibly scared at the thought of this guy, the bad guy, whoever it is.
There's a really sort of like pivotal line here. I think it's one of the better lines in the movie, because I think it reflects one of the other... There's two directions this movie's being pulled in, right? Direction number one, we want to set up for a shitload more Bond movies. So here's the new Q, here's the new M, here's the new Moneypenny, here's the new fucking Office, right? And then the other direction is, I would quite like to continue the like serious, dramatic narrative arc of Craig Bond that started in Casino Royale and had some emotional weight to it. The bit that I think Daniel Craig was more interested in. And so his line is, well, she tells him like, "Yeah, you know nothing, James Bond," and he says, "I know when a woman is afraid and pretending not to be." And we know, of course, that he has learned this the hard way with Vesper, because all of her lines were, "James, I have a terrible secret and I'm afraid, but I can't tell you." And he's just like, "Yep, cool, fine, I'm going to be gambling."
But it's kind of a nice twist, because Bond spots that she is more of a captive of the bad guy than a henchman. But the way
this
he
has been
does
done
this is he
before, but
notices
yeah.
a tattoo on her wrist and says like, "Oh, you were a sex slave. Like, did he find you when you were a kid and like quote unquote rescue you?" And it's just really like, I guess like kind of realistic for a spy, using someone's real trauma against them.
Sure,
Yeah.
but
absolutely. But also, it's really bad. My note here just says, we are an hour into this movie and have not met the villain yet. This woman is going to get fridged so hard.
oh, so.
Do you know what
fucking
this scene reminds me of, and not in a good way? It's the scene where George Lazenby met that woman in a casino and said, "I think you're in trouble. You don't owe me anything, and I want to help you." That scene played it so much better than this.
Well,
And that,
fucking Dalton did it better than this with fucking Lupe in License to Kill, who was afraid of fucking Sanchez, right? Like, she had more agency than fucking Severine does.
I mean, essentially what's happened here is that the writers have pulled the big, like, it's the big arm, and it's spun around the fucking slot machine wheels, and it's come up with, okay, we need another woman to be like, "Oh, you can't help me, James, not from him."
Yeah.
which has happened 100,000 fucking previous. Every time they want to introduce a villain that they haven't done. Like, there's two kinds of Bond film. There's the one where you meet the villain like minute one, and you get ages to sit with him, and you start to really like him, like fucking Goldfinger or something like that. And then you get some shit like The World Is Not Enough, where you are simply told that he's bad 40 to 50 times, and then you meet him and you're like, this guy seems like a bit of a bitch.
He doesn't live up to expectations.
This guy seems kind of bitch made. So they've tried this again with this guy, and they managed to do both of them, by the way, in No Time to Die, which is cool.
It's so difficult not to turn this into a No Time to Die review, because it's fucking it makes No Time to Die so much worse.
Yeah,
it's like it's proto No Time to Die, right? It's
some time to die.
That's got so much
no
worse.
sky to fall.
Stop it.
So she's Severine is like, listen, if you can help me maybe by killing Silva, my bodyguards, who are, I guess my jailers, are going to fight you on the way out. If you fight them and win, meet me on my boat and we'll go to Silva.
Yeah. Defeat this mini boss.
Yeah, but Bond goes to leave, and then Tank Dong immediately throws him into the fucking Komodo dragon pit.
There's a point here, because he starts to walk across the bridge, and then Tank Dong is stood at the other end of the bridge and doesn't let him past. And like 2 extra guys like arrive behind him, and Bond like notes Tank, turns around and looks at the 2 guys behind him, one of which is like leaning on the balustrade with his hand so in his jacket, and he just gives him like the sort of upward nod of like, yep, we're gonna kill you now, bud. Sort of like a nothing personal, right, professional courtesy, we are gonna kill you.
Yeah. Good day, champion.
Yeah,
it's cute.
Oh, aye, a big fella. Yeah, so Tank Dong and James Bond fall into the Komodo dragon pit.
Yes. The hazard that Tank Dong
does a hilarious face when he just points at the Komodo dragon.
He does the soy point at the Komodo dragon twice.
Yo, is that a fucking Komodo dragon?
He's the entire way through this fight, he is like, yo, is that a fucking Komodo dragon? And Tank Dong, a man who works in the fucking Komodo Dragon casino every day to get to work, walking across a big Komodo
by
Dragon
the Komodo
pit,
Dragon,
falls into the Komodo Dragon pit, and then like somehow doesn't consider that it's a possibility that there might be a Komodo Dragon.
He must have done something to piss that Komodo Dragon off. Like, they must have history.
And honestly, to be fair, as you've made this point, if you spend every working day around a hazard, you stop seeing it as
the biggest hazard. Yeah, absolutely.
But
should put a big safety is job number one sign over the dragon pit.
The Komodo dragon does some shit that Komodo dragons don't do to Tank Dong. Not even really worth getting into. Bites him on the leg and like drags him back into his pit, which A, they wouldn't be strong enough to do, and B, that's not how they hunt.
One of Bond's 2 gadgets is expended. The gun that only shoots when he's holding it, because Tank Dong points the gun, takes the gun off and points it at him, and it doesn't work, and he gets eaten. So we then see Severine about to leave. She has like 2 glasses of champagne, and she's like, "Oh, he didn't make it. He must have been killed." Gets in the shower.
On the yacht.
Yeah, on the yacht, and James Bond, bathroom intruder, enters her fucking shower.
I remember the backlash to this scene. This is the shower rape scene. It's pretty...
shower intruder scene.
Yeah.
James leaves the Komodo dragon pit through the expedient of climbing on the back of a second Komodo dragon and jumping up.
Like
fucking
Roger
live and
Moore
let die
did in
ass.
Fucking Live and Let Die.
Cool. Sick nasty.
Moneypenny saves him from the other 2.
Teleports into her shower. They have sex. Dubiously consensual. Not good.
Very strange. Yeah.
I mean, like, so this is a woman who we have identified has previously been a child sex slave. You would think that her worst nightmare is a strange naked man. I mean, you should always get like explicit consent, but you'd think if any time there's like you should really do this, would be just like when you walk naked into her shower and
he's got his dick and balls out already.
Like it's really like scene missing of them. Also, why like they don't have any particular chemistry. There's no reason to do this.
She hasn't
it's because I'll tell you fucking why it is. It's because they had a romance scene with Moneypenny, but they didn't have sex.
Yeah, Bond has
so the
blue
fucking
balls,
audience
and
are
so
going to
the
be there
next
like,
woman that he
where's
sees,
the fucking shagging?
Yeah.
So like he has to teleport, have sex with a woman, and she dies 10 fucking minutes down the line. I hate this.
So they take the yacht to Battleship Island, and I've written down
it's
here.
It's a writing convenience more than it is like a character.
Yeah. It's ticking the box. So we now go
also
to
back in London. Democratic oversight.
We live in a
society.
And we live in a society, and she's like, fuck you. So we go to Battleship Island, which is off the coast of Japan. And I've written down here, forgotten uninhabited island off the coast of Asia with a lot of concrete. What a unique location. I certainly hope we never see this again.
I wrote villains love to have an island base.
That's true. It's
called Britain.
In real
Every
life,
motherfucker's got an
Little
island
St.
base,
James.
Like Dr. No and Crab Key, like fucking Scaramanga had an island.
The Isle of Wight,
Stafford's got
the
an
Isle of
island.
Man, Sark.
Blofeld had an
Your
island.
next enemy is in Switzerland. Oh fuck! How are we gonna get to him? But then we meet the villain of the piece, and here's my fucking big problem.
I have a drop before you have a big problem.
All right, fine.
The thing you should know about this villain, right, is because he's been hacking M's computers, is that he is just.
I find a computer indispensable.
From view to a kill. That's his deal.
Computer Blofeld. But here's the thing. One of the first theme of this movie was, what if you loved your country, but like your country didn't like you back? That's a great theme. And so our villain is a former MI6 agent with a grudge against M. Great, cool. Really good, really like it.
This is good.
But it should have been Pierce Brosnan. It should have been Brosnan, because he should have been like, you fucking abandoned me in North Korea. I've had my dick and balls stung off by scorpions. I'm a scary rapist, according to this woman. Like, it should have been him.
Yeah, you're right.
The thing is, this is something I brought up in the fucking Die Another Day film, which is like, Brosnan gets out of North Korea and M says directly to him, what do you mean? No, of course we weren't ever going to get you out. You should have used your cyanide pill to kill yourself, idiot. If it was up to me, you'd still be there. And I was like, wow, this bitch seems like a real cunt. I wonder what's going to... And now we're finally exploring that as a topic where we have an agent that she has done this exactly to. And like, it could have been Pierce.
It really could have.
He was so good. He was the right age. Imagine how good it would have been if we just got a shot of him walking in with the old-fashioned Rolex and we got in the 90s
do you want to know something fucked, right? The thing is, right, they gave it to Javier Bardem because Javier Bardem loves having fucked up hair in a movie. And so he got a long blonde wig in this. But they offered it to Kevin Spacey.
Oh my God, that would have been perfect. Holy shit.
Oh my God.
That would have been phenomenal for us. Not for anyone else.
No,
for us.
No. So Javier Bardem sits down. His name is Silva. It's not really, but like that's his code name. And he's like,
it's worth noting that again we're at like the 1 hour 20 minute.
Oh yeah, I'm pushing to get through this in under 2 hours.
We have fucking been told about this guy so long, and his introductory scene is he gets an elevator down and walks towards Bond for like 5 uninterrupted minutes, delivering a monologue.
At the same volume, though. Like, you expect him, like, he's at one end of the room, and you kind of want Bond to go, like, what? Like, he's just in a conversational volume 40 feet away. So
just like, Mr. Bond.
He's also gay.
Yeah, he's a predatory bisexual, which is a total novelty in media. He like...
I mean, the character is what if Anton Chigurh was gay? Like, that's...
Yeah, he touches Bond up a bit. Bond kind of, like, gay flirts back a little bit to show, like, bravado.
By the way, listeners, if you're wondering, are they going to engage maybe with the politics of having a gay former MI6 agent in a country that has actually been quite homophobic and still is for a long time? No, they're not going to engage with the politics of that at all.
Don't worry about that. No, he's gay because it's threatening to be gay. Like, he's not gay because it's fun to explore.
He has little gay mannerisms and a little gay voice. It's, it's charming. So yeah, we
gave him up to the Chinese because he was a faggot. Yeah. Come on, it was the only choice we had.
He gropes Bond a bit, and then says, "Oh well, M has been lying to you the whole time because she's awful." Bond goes, "She never lied to me," and Silva hits him with the,
"I didn't know Bond passed this."
He didn't.
Yes, I did edit that to say I didn't know Bond passes. But he
I also only clipped it to...
I didn't know Bond passed.
Yeah. But like, to show him that like, she sent him out here because he's not fucking ready, and she's like, he's utterly disposable, and you think that you're her favorite. I used to be her favorite, and she fucking did for me, and she's going to do for you. It should have been Brosnan. But...
She hires orphans. She makes that explicit later down the line. She hires orphans, acts as a surrogate mother figure. Quote the Brosnan line, your mother, she likes to think so.
Mm-hmm.
And then just drops them out into the world completely disposably. And it's like, this is an interesting thing to explore. But they don't
Will we? No.
really explore it.
He does get one very fun line, which is tied into the, like, this is basically the last you'll see of the For England, James theme, where he's like, you know, you're doing all this shit for what? For England? For the Empire? And then he hits him with, you're living in a ruin as well, which I liked a lot. We will come back to this in future movies. It's a good theme to pick up. But so he then gets bored of this and he's like, right, we're going to go out and we're going to see Severine to get rid of her for plot reasons. Mm-hmm. But so, you know, I'm gay and sadistic.
We have extraneous female character +1.
Yeah, the way I'm going to show you that I'm gay and sadistic is she's going to look a little bit beaten up, and then she's going to be like tied to a statue. I'm going to balance a glass of scotch on her head, and I'm going to make you do your marksmanship test again, so that you fucking William Tell that glass of scotch rather than shooting her. To which I wrote, me and who. Now.
Also, Bond refers to it as Scotch, and I nearly had a fucking aneurysm because I was like, there is no goddamn way a real Scottish person would ever call it that.
Oh, he downs a shot glass, mind you, of Macallan in one, which
ridiculous.
So Bond shoots, misses, and then Silva like gets bored of this plot line as quickly as the movie does and just kills her. It's like, yep, okay, cool. Done that, ticked that off the old to-do list.
And then the reinforcements, because he used the radio.
He gets a little smarmy cunt line where he's like, oh, it's the new gadget from Q Branch, it's called a radio. So Silva gets arrested, which is not a thing I knew MI6 did.
Especially not when they were in Macau, or question mark, whatever.
Just shoot him with a gun.
No, what they do is they take him back to their headquarters.
They put him in the fucking like.
They put him in Magneto's prison from X-Men 2.
So they put him in the Loki chamber.
They put him in Magneto's
because he's the damn Joker.
They put him in a perfect glass hexagon. And then M comes to see him, and Silva like reveals the whole story, which is that, like, you know, I used to work for her in Hong Kong, and I was captured, and I was tortured, and I refused to give up information on her. And then I realized, oh, actually, she betrayed me, and she gave me up. And even then, I still didn't want to fucking reveal information, so I tried to kill myself. I tried to use the cyanide pill in my molar.
Yeah, everything that she said Brosnan should have done.
Yeah. Now, once again, this is where the movie hits you with its masterstroke. You thought he was normal, brackets maybe, but gay. But facial deformity! We got another one.
Do you want to know how I got these scars?
He reveals that he has a facial deformity because the cyanide
100% facial deformity rate, apart from, well, I guess, okay, fine, 75%. Matteo Malric didn't have one in Quantum of Solace, but
that's right.
Other than that, yeah, he's like, the whole side of his jaw is missing, all of his teeth are rotted out. He's got like a dental plate in there.
Yeah.
It also affects his eye for some reason.
Yeah, he looks a bit like melted Richard Keel, like if you put Richard Keel on the microwave for a bit. So, yeah, this kind of makes a bit of an impression on Bond as they're leaving.
Yeah, more so than M.
Yeah.
As they're leaving, M just like tells Bond, he's just like, yeah, handover was coming up from Hong Kong from the English to the Chinese. Mm-hmm. I got 6 good agents out of it. Easy deal.
Mm-hmm.
And like the fact that she is so completely and perfectly blasé about it really should come up.
Yeah, you really get like little flashes of regret maybe, but then like, you know, she doesn't really like, and the bean counter thing of M.
She doesn't. She did the maths and she's like, 6 for 1, easy.
It's a thing they've been trying to do with M since GoldenEye, and they've been kind of mostly missing. They immediately forgot about it in fucking Tomorrow Never Dies. Like, but the idea that she's like this kind of like bloodless accountant, you know, that's quite good when it's explored. And this movie, credit to it, does actually explore it. So now we get something that like I listen. We're a podcast with 3 trans people on it. 100% of our listeners work in like information technology and information security.
You're gonna say MI6.
This fucking scene.
That too. So the problem.
Oh yeah,
the problem,
they do the NCIS hacking scene where there are 2 people on one keyboard.
this
They just
like-
do that.
The problem with
scene-
hiring femboys, right, is that they don't fucking understand network security. And so this fucking twink, Q, takes this computer that they took off the guy and he plugs it with a fucking cable into the network of the fucking MI6 secret base. Like, he
But,
doesn't
like-
take it off site. He doesn't even
Smart
air
shit.
gap that shit. He doesn't have like a little fucking ant farm to explore that shit. He just plugs that shit right in. Moron.
Like, this series where we're setting up like, oh, we want a more grounded, gritty, realistic thing.
Yeah.
That only applies to like guns and gadgets. Whereas now Q is like, he's using a mutant quantum mainframe to alter the code as I'm using my hack to program the
I'm
periscope.
building
and
a
I'm
GUI
like,
in Visual Basic. Yeah.
like, what
Yeah,
the fuck?
fucking Q's got like a keyboard on his arm, like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual Disk. He's like, my God, I can't believe he's hacking the mainframe.
Yeah,
He just do a computer's
bullshit.
magic scene.
It turns out
yeah.
Silva wanted to be captured all along because he's the
Yes.
Joker.
Yes, he's the damn Joker because M is now getting hauled in front
I
of
just want my phone.
the Parliamentary Select Committee because of these agents being leaked and one of them being killed, right? Meanwhile, all of as we've learned from Rory Kinnear and his ass earlier on, these tunnels they connect to fucking everything because of Churchill or whatever.
Yeah.
And so
Question mark.
yeah, and so Bond like picks the name of a disused London Underground station out of some bullshit because he has autism, like me.
Yeah, whatever.
And just like computers genius M, Q, whatever, who gives a fuck. Gay Q can't figure out what the fuck's going on, and Bond's like, oh, that's a bloody tube station name. Why don't you use that as the key? And everything starts turning red, and I'm just like, nothing is real.
How
What is
much did it
happening?
hurt Silva to leave a clue so obvious even Bond would pick it out?
2012.
Yeah, so
There's got a virus in the network, in the brain neurons of the laptop. It's because he wanted to be captured because he's the Joker.
yeah, he escapes.
He's the fucking Joker.
While we see M getting like owned in the select committee, like Mallory is sympathetic, but the chairwoman of this committee is a bitch. She hates M, and therefore
She's owning her
she's just
so
like
hard.
going off on her. And we see why M hates democracy.
Yeah.
We get some fun little bickering between Q and Bond. That's nice. I like that. They're like an old married couple. And so, like, Bond tries to warn her. It's like, no, you have to get M to safety. Tanner sees this. And he's like, oh, no, I can't. She's going sicko mode on the MPs. Because what she's done is she's started quoting fucking Tennyson.
She does a little speech, and then she does the coolest shit that you can do when you've been given a public speaking opportunity. And she's like, "I've got a poem here,
Tennyson,
that I'd love to read from for a bit." And it's
for 1 to 2
shit.
hours. Well, the thing is, right? Bond is chasing Silva. Silva like chase.
Because Silva's virus opened all the doors and Silva's escaped.
Silva has like
Silva's run
Silva
away.
has changed into a police officer's uniform again. He just like me. And so he's about to climb up into the fucking like Westminster Tube station.
I would like to note something here, which is this. There's something really compelling to me about this particular chase.
Well, they're using all of the semiotics of
More
7-7.
It's compelling to me more so than like the fact that it's in London is sort of by the by. Like
No, it's not.
It
I
hits
think
me
it's
harder than
essential.
like of course, but like it hits me harder than the boat chase that they did in London because like I've been on the Thames exactly one fucking time, but I've been on the tube at rush hour so many fucking times, and to have a chase scene there, I'm like, oh, I know this instinctively. I understand everything that's happening here, and like there's something very grounded about that to me.
I know enough
Very
to know that
genuinely
you
compelling.
can't slide down the escalators because they've got adverts on to stop you
Yeah,
doing that.
you would hit your dick and balls
Yeah,
every
they
time.
don't. They've
whenever
got
it
those
is
little middle things. I've seen the video of someone doing that. It's
This is like the franchise's like attempt to come to terms 7 years later with the tube bombings, right? Like fucking Silva like dumps a tube train on Bond by blowing up a wall, and you see like Bond having to
Never mind.
sprint through all of these like emergency services and stuff while M reads Tennyson. And it's like, patriotism is quite good, isn't it? It's like, it's old-fashioned, but maybe you need old-fashioned these days.
We also get some capital letters ideology, because M is like,
really do.
MI6 exists to make people feel safe. And it's like, no, it does not. That is not in MI6's job description.
MI6 exists to preserve the foreign interests
sovereignty
of the
of Parliament
government
and the United Kingdom's economic interests abroad.
Yeah. So
I know that for reasons I don't work for them.
So there is one other detail that I want to pull out, and it's just a little comical one, which is that like before Silva dumps the train on him, Bond manages to shoot at Silva, and he makes a perfect noise when he gets shot at.
Normally, I would be shot for being Italian.
Oh, come on! Should have been
Brosnan. I'm a little birthday boy.
Anyway, just as M is like, actually, patriotism is good. And do you feel safe? Silva bursts in, opens fire on M.
musical.
Mallory takes a bullet for M, but Silva gets away.
It was at that moment that he truly became M.
He truly became M. There's M at the fucking... literally is just like, I'd like to represent myself here. Oxford Dictionary defines patriotism. And I was like, shut up, fuck off. And I said fuck off out loud, actually, when she started to do that.
But like, Silva gets away.
There's a fight. There's a fight. And during the fight, Bond starts to respect both M and Moneypenny for different reasons.
Bond gets the PPK. He kicks Mallory a Glock. He kicks Moneypenny a Glock. At this point, I wrote down...
He's basically just kicking guns.
All right, fine, we've all got Glocks. Everybody calm down.
But now Bond has to take M
Anton
off the
Chigurh
grid.
does the perfect like infiltration tactic, is that he walks in the front door, starts shooting, and at no point in the scene does he move from the exact location he was stood in. He doesn't even hide. And I'm like, I would have shot him. You could give me a gun I've never used it before. I would have shot him by now.
So Bond, this is the point at which the movie goes off the rails, because Bond kidnaps M in like a positive way. He's like, okay,
take her off the grid.
We have to take you off the board.
Yeah, I've just realized what I said fuck off out loud note was actually referring to.
What was your, if it's ahead of this?
It's coming up.
Okay, good. So he takes her to a storage locker, right, where he is keeping the Aston Martin DB5. Your dad is meant to stand up and clap at this bit.
Yeah, I've got I've got the sound. I've also got the sound that it plays when he reveals the Aston Martin, and it's this. You are this movie thinks that your dad is the dumbest cunt on God's earth. He is supposed to stand up in the cinema and be like, that's James Bond's car.
It's got the fucking license plate.
I don't mind this so much because we have set up in Casino Royale that he has the 1964 Aston Martin.
Well,
okay, makes sense.
That's the thing,
he also
right? Like, I will fucking get to this. I will get to this.
He explicitly says this does not have, like, it's not a company car. It doesn't have a tracking device in it. That's why we're using it. And I'm like, okay, cool. I like it. All right, fine. Yeah. But then in the very next shot, what happens, Alice?
The next shot, she gets in the car, she's bitching, as women love to do, and she's like, oh, it's not very comfortable, and he flips open the top of the gear shift, and it's got the ejector button in it from fucking Goldfinger, and she knows what it does, because she goes, oh, go ahead, eject me, see if I give a shit. Now, this is the thing, right?
Number of things to say.
This is the thing that I really want to dig into, because this is two movies pulling each other apart, right?
It really is.
The fucking Aston Martin has a continuity in the Craig Bond films. He won it in a poker game in Nassau in Casino Royale. Well, was it Quantum of Solace? Not important. Anyway,
it was Casino Royale.
It was Casino Royale.
Yeah. So he that exists there, and then he like gets it. Fucking, but like. That's its thing in the Craig movies, right? That's it in the Craig arc. But then pulling apart from that is 50 years of James Bond. He's the same guy all the way through. This is Connery's car. It has the Connery thing in it. He did all of the Connery shit. And
it's the Connery car from fucking Goldfinger and Thunderball. It's the same car. It's got all the same gadgets.
In this movie, there are two Bonds. One is called Craig Dicksuck, and we have seen him have a narrative arc from Casino Royale.
I'd
Craig
say.
Fingersuck. Yeah, excuse me. One is called Craig Fingersuck, but he also does a bit of the dick
The
sucking.
other's called Craig Dicksuck.
And the other is called The Same Guy because he was in all the other movies. And the only way that you can make sense of this is either this movie is pulling itself apart trying to be both of these things at once, and it like alternates depending on which the writers remember to do, or the Devon theory, Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace happen, every other movie happens, then this.
That's my belief. I think it's stupid, but I think that's
this
what...
came
like,
after
if
The
you were
World
to
Is Not Enough.
examine
No, die another day.
the genuine canon.
I don't think that will work, because then why is M then a man and then a woman? No. But like they could have had a cute line about when she says
Transition.
she says it's not very comfortable here. He could have gone, shut up or I'll hit the ejector seat. And she'll go, you don't have an ejector seat, do you? And then he just like looks at her like, that would have been a cute little moment. We didn't need to break the whole movie.
It's so... He won this car in Nassau.
Yeah.
He says explicitly it's not a company car, but it's got all the gadgets from Goldfinger, and in the next movie, Q is repairing it and complains about it not being brought back in one piece. What? So what? Whose car is this?
It has miniguns in it, in the fucking headlights.
It's got miniguns.
Who put those in?
Yeah. Did he do that? Did he just like...
Did he do it himself? Is there a garage in London somewhere that will do this for you?
Yeah, he put an ejector seat in his car in between the events of Casino Royale and this.
So why?
Shut
just
up.
the passenger seat as well. Like he copied the mistakes of the fucking...
So
he went for the most situational gadget humanly possible.
Anyway, we go back to Wayne Manor.
yeah, because Q has to leave a little trail, right, of breadcrumbs for Silva to follow, because they're luring him into a trap. That's important. It's a trap. It's a location of their choosing. Gareth Mallory truly becomes M because he helps them do an off-the-books operation.
I was also about to say that, but you said it faster than me, so we don't need to do
Also,
this.
do you remember this really nice little theme we had set up in Casino Royale that Bond actually grew up poor and is pretending to be posh to fit in with MI6? It was a really nice thing.
Yeah.
Like Eva Green
it
was
was nice.
saying,
Why
you
he
went to
likes
Oxford.
the
Humanising.
expensive
I really,
watches.
really liked it. Yeah, fuck that.
I really enjoyed that.
Actually, he grew up in a mansion with a butler.
It's at least
Cool.
consistent with himself, with its own movie, because at least he is living in a ruin, like you said. Themes. But
Alfred is there.
but Bond and M go back to his childhood home of Skyfall.
Alfred is there. You pick up your father's hunting rifle because
At the
this theme came out of nowhere. Where did this script get mashed up with
Mm.
something else? Home Alone happens.
The other thing we find is that like there's a gamekeeper called Kincaid. Albert Finney doesn't even sound Scottish.
Alfred, he's Alfred.
But it does say
Just there.
things like
Welcome to Scotland.
doesn't sound.
He's Alfred.
Doesn't sound. But what they do have in the house.
Welcome to Scotland.
What they do have in the house is James Bond's dad's rifle. A couple
This
of
his
like.
father's been mentioned. What?
Yeah, his father, whose initials were AB, which is also Alfred Broccoli. They did that as a little trick because it's 50 years apart.
So what it also has is a priest hole. Now, a priest hole is something that recusant Catholics, like hidden Catholics, had in the Middle Ages. Not the Middle Ages, the fucking like, you know what I mean. Shut up. But
Yeah, in the Dark Ages, a period of
in the
history
19th century,
and that decline of sources.
sometime in the 1950s, if you wanted to like hide a priest in your house, which was illegal because Catholicism was illegal.
Some point in the 1960s,
At some point last year, if you wanted to
during the
hide a
Dr. No
priest,
thing.
you had to have a little hole for them, a priest hole for them to hide in.
Hell, you could still hide a priest in that hole.
You could.
No
you
fucking
could.
law against
but
it.
there's a great bit because it's like a secret passage out, right? And Kincaid says to M, when I told him his parents died, he hid in there for 2 days because he's Batman. He chose to take the form of a bat to like, frighten criminals.
Struck fear into his heart.
And then, like every supportive relative I have ever had, delivers the perfect line.
When it did come out, he wasn't a boy anymore.
Delightful.
He'd had sex.
No, he was doing it because he's
again,
a
this theme of
girl.
parental
Lost
trauma
his
is mentioned
Transition?
once.
Yes.
Transition.
Transition.
Anyway, they
yeah,
do
I don't
Home
know.
Alone things.
Seems you've passed.
They do Home Alone things. They rig a bunch of stupid traps. The bad guys arrive. They have a fight. And
Why
gets to fire a gun,
do they
which is
have
nice.
to do this? It's a trap of your
Infinite bad
making.
guys roll up.
Yeah, Infinity bad guys show up. He ambushes them with the fucking miniguns and the Aston Martin, which again he won on a bet like 2 years ago.
Silva arrives in a helicopter, blows up the DB5, and this is the thing that like pisses Bond off the most. It's like his car
I
gets
wrote this. He was doing a task. You destroyed his car, and I wrote, destroying his car initializes Ultra Instinct Bond mode, where essentially the music starts playing, but he just does what he was already doing, but faster.
Yeah.
Like,
he gets a fucking like little,
with his task.
little like now it's personal look about the car, not about M.
Yeah. What about Mitchell? His
No.
best friend,
What about
Mitchell, from the last
What
film.
about Mitchell, James? Also, M gets shot, but she doesn't notice it yet.
What about Ronson?
But they kill a bunch of guys. He helps M get to safety in the fucking chapel with Alfred.
Bond blows up the house.
Stealthily making their getaway. They just like turn on a flashlight and start swinging it around.
Silva throws a bunch of grenades in the windows in a weird way because he's gay. Bond blows up Skyfall. Because he's like, I always hated this place, and it's fine, right? It's meant to be like liberating, right? But this is a bigger problem, right? Because
But not England, though. The house is in England. Don't get confused, even though we spent an hour setting up.
even though it kind of is. It's not.
The house is different.
Yeah.
No, it means a different thing.
It means a different thing. And you can't ever like give Bond like loss or freedom from anything, right? Like. You can't even fucking take his car away because the car's going to come back. The house is like, that's not important. We've never seen it before. It's never going to come up again. But the fucking car is going to come back. And I use that as an example of how you can't ever do anything that interesting with this character because you just have to bring it back. You just have to put all the pieces back on the board the way they came. And you have to do the same thing forever.
But Wayne Manor gets blown up.
Wayne Manor gets blown up.
Bond is chasing Silva, who's chasing Emmy, runs across a fallen lake.
Yeah, and then the amazing teleporting cunt appears behind him with a gun.
Honestly, this is heartening to me because I've been here this entire time going, not only is there not a single fucking Goodnight Cross candidate at all in the works, there's not a single fucking Kronstein Rosette candidate apart from Tank Dong, but he doesn't do anything. I just like his name.
And then this guy.
But then the amazing teleporting cunt
appears behind
Danny Craig on a frozen lake.
Interview.
He doesn't
middle of
anywhere.
a frozen lake.
He whispers interview. But Silva's like, fuck you, shoots Bond's feet. Bond falls through the frozen lake, and the henchman is still trying to kill him underwater, which is why he's getting nominated for the Kronstein.
Absolutely, really committed.
Just like they're both underwater, and also like they're both underwater. They're both drowning, but the henchman is still attempting to choke Bond out.
Make him drown
stop him
faster.
Breathing, cunt. Yeah. Make him breathe. Punch him in the chest. What do you do? And then James Bond, after holding his breath for what I could only call like 10 to 15 fuccking minutes, just gets out. It's fine. It's fine.
He's like in frozen water in Scotland.
For chapel. Barely even dry. Barely even wet.
So fucking
Sick.
Silva and M get some acting, right? Like he tries to kill her. He can't kill her. He doesn't have it in him. He wants her to fucking kill them both. I thought it was quite good. I mean,
it's
good. But
at this point, because this is also the chapel where
Bond.
Bond's parents are buried, so it's all getting very confused.
Yeah,
this film needed one fewer passes at the script.
That's true, and so he's very perfectionist. Silva is about this. He's like, oh, of course, I had to be here. He's very angry that fucking Kincaid interrupts them, right? But then Bond perfectly teleports into the doorway and throws a knife that Kincaid had earlier used to be like, sometimes the old ways are the best. That's the moral of this movie.
Apparently.
I guess. He throws it right in between his shoulder blades. And what's really funny is that as he's dying, Silva just mostly sounds annoyed. Like he's just like, oh, cunt.
He gets the knife thrown into his back and he's like, can you fuck off?
Yeah.
He's like,
I'm in the middle of something.
I can't believe you've done this. Dies.
Oh, fuck.
And then M dies of plot. I mean, she had been shot. She was bleeding out, but she dies of plot.
She's 800 years old and she's been shot. She can...
Yeah. She
Bond cries,
she's been a man
which is
for a bit.
She cries. Bond cries tears.
Bond cries.
Tears, which is
yeah,
nice.
She's like, I did one thing right. You're my best special boy, and I'll love you forever. Mummy's very proud. Remember to be James Bond forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
she's like, see you, Dad. I'm out, motherfucker. Good luck.
Always be doing James Bond shit. My dying words to you: make another dozen of these movies, or else.
And Gareth is the new M. Have a bulldog.
forever.
Yeah. Gareth is the new M. He's back in the old M's office. We have the old office, an old, brackets, male M. We have a fucking Tennyson. We're back to the boomer fantasy of MI6 again, rather than the fucking what do we do after the Cold War kind of view of MI6 that we had during the Brosnan years. And all is well in the world.
Yeah, they wobbled around for a bit. They were like, oh my god, we might have to reckon with. And then they were like, wait a minute. Of course we fucking don't.
No.
And then they were just like, okay, here's Q. He's gay. That's cool. Moneypenny's a girl boss. M is a guy again. Don't worry. And James Bond finishes the movie by being like, ready to serve.
I mean, Emma's trans mask at least.
This theme of patriotism, but what if your country doesn't love you back? It's just dropped, which is such a shame.
Yeah, it does.
This movie limps throughout the third act, sloughing fucking themes.
We've
plot
ended
points.
on what?
They do an hour of Home Alone, and then it's like, don't worry, your country does love you back because the country is your mum, and she's given you a special little treat, which is this dog, to say, make a bunch more of these movies, one every year, forever. And Daniel Craig looks straight down the camera like he has a fucking laser sight on his forehead and goes, with pleasure, end of movie.
I'd love to. Oh, God. It's tragic.
It's a shame because we started off so well.
The genuine problem, I think, is, right, the Moore films never had a theme.
No.
They had no fucking idea. They tried one. They did one. They did one theme. It was Vengeance is Bad.
Yep.
That was cool. Then they did a much cooler movie later on where the Vengeance was sick nasty. That's neat. They never had themes. They never had to reconcile with anything. By the time Brosnan came along, they were like, shit. The British Empire isn't real anymore. The Cold War's over. There are no major enemies. What are we going to do? And then they're just like, don't worry. Actually, it's fine. We could just keep it going. And up to the point where fucking the bad guy in No Time to Die, again, I'm doing a No Time to Die review, has a secret island base that's halfway between Russia and Japan. And I'm like, oh, cool. The two bad countries in the Bond canon.
Yeah.
This is the worst place you can be.
Well, he refuses to go entirely Japanese. But we do have a science-based system.
We do. We call it the scum system. And
it's the more competent these movies get, the more depressing it is to see them just completely fail to have anything to say.
It's like watching a kid get older and not amount to anything. It's how my parents must feel. So we have a...
Hey, you've got a podcast.
Several.
Yeah,
several podcasts. Eh? Yeah. That's much worse than having one podcast.
I didn't know Alice passed. She didn't. So we have a science-based system. Thank you. The SCUM system for SMARM, cultural insensitivity, unprovoked violence, and misogyny. So, SMARM in this movie, what do we think?
Do we only count Bond SMARM, or is it the ambient SMARM?
Yeah, we only count Bond. We only count Bond.
Whatever. Okay, because Bond SMARM fairly low, but the movie's ambient SMARM is very high.
I feel like he gets a little tiny bit.
You get that reveal at the end, because they don't do this until the credits start, where it just suddenly goes 50 years of Bond, and you go, oh, that's why this movie sucks. This is why it's been sucking itself off the whole time. Okay. Right, I get it. Right.
I think it's a little higher than previously. How do we feel about a 4, 3?
Ooh, I'd go 3, I think. Because I think Daniel Craig has now been able here to find a medium for the SMARM that kind of works for him. So he has a couple of little lines where he's just like, it's funny, it's smarmy. Like when M is
just as many that aren't funny though. He's like, Brave New World. I'm like, that's not
they're just saying the thing. But so for instance, when M is looking at the car and oh, it looks like a piece of shit, James, he's like, get in. And I quite liked that. That's a good kind of smart.
Yeah.
So 3, I guess.
Okay. Cultural insensitivity.
Do Komodo dragons do that? The only...
I mean, Komodo dragons aren't really
the only
culture.
Asian woman that we see has been sex trafficked by the Tongs.
She's French.
Okay, well...
The actress is, I think. I don't have it.
Well, okay. Well, in any case, she's in Asia. She's been in Asia. That's the only context we have for it is sex trafficking. What else?
I want to give it a point for Silva being gay in a very uninteresting way.
Yeah, one of the fucking one of the agents that they have has they put the two images side by side, and like one of them's like a work ID card photo, and the other one is sort of like what every Daily Mail reader imagines a Muslim guy to look like. He's got the like massive beard and everything. He's like significantly his skin is like several shades darker. That's a bit racist, I think. Yeah.
3, 4?
4.
Okay.
All right.
Unprovoked violence?
Unprovoked violence. Well, I mean, it's all pretty provoked, I think.
Yeah. I'm struggling to think of any moments where he does something and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, everybody's trying to kill him, unless you count getting in the shower as an act of violence, which arguable.
I'm gonna give it to the misogyny, but
yeah,
I mean, he doesn't save that guy from being assassinated.
Yeah,
I kind of want to
whichever
give him a point for that.
No.
Like you could have saved that man's life.
Yeah, I mean, he does drop the guy out of the window, but it's sort of like ambiguous as to whether he like drops him or the guy just like pushes himself off.
He falls.
Yeah, I could go like 1 or a 2 even. I think.
Def?
Yeah, okay.
1 or 2.
Yeah, I'm happy to go.
Okay. I think this is quietly one of the more reactionary
I'm gonna say
Craig movies.
Yeah.
Just genuinely, I'll be loudly even.
It's like, the old ways were the best ways. What's that? The old ways were the best ways. And it's like, okay, what do those entail? Getting into women's showers unannounced?
Yeah.
Fucking...
Yeah, what do the old ways think about women? Don't worry. Like, it's...
It's fine because they can.
Yeah,
it's not fine
like
because
the
they can be girl
thing
bosses,
and...
but if they're not good enough at it, then they have to be secretaries.
Yeah, I think you're right, Alice. I think it is actually one of the slimier ones.
Secretary is just a failed
I'm
girl
all saying
boss.
this. Yeah. So.
And like M's
That's
role
like
is
gatekeep,
reduced
baby.
to like mother. Yeah.
Oh, they
and the
really
shower
make that
thing.
explicit too. Yeah.
They explore it, but they don't explore it in a way that's like.
No, they
cool
just go
or like satisfying
they've like
at all.
read
And,
someone
like, essentially,
psychoanalyze
it's just
it
like,
and gone like, M's a bit like a mother figure to Bond, and they've noticed that, done a couple of lines about it, and then this movie is fully just like, yeah, she is, and that's cool.
yeah, she fucking recruits orphan children, grooms them to become super secret agents, and then will abandon them if it like makes sense to her mathematically.
Yeah.
And also, don't worry, she never faces comeuppance for this. She dies at the end
I would say 6 for this.
without having this challenge.
I don't
at
think
any
it's
point.
up there with the Connerys,
just
but I think it
weird.
is. It's like a kind of very, very 2012 kind of misogyny. I think.
it's at least as misogynist as Goldeneye, which was a 6.
Oh, I agree completely.
Yeah, true.
In that case, we have a total score of... We give it 1 for unprovoked violence. Wait, that can't be right.
I mean, I imagine it'll be quite low because like he doesn't really do anything.
It doesn't do anything?
It's 14, which is the
He
best
doesn't really
Craig
do
movie we've
anything.
had so far.
Well, this is the thing, right? It doesn't relate
Yeah, but
to
again,
like...
it's not a measure of best.
No,
movie.
morally best, perhaps.
It's because he's not violent.
No.
It's true.
Yeah.
That really
It's not especially violent, this
saves
one.
you a lot of points.
Did we miss anything?
I really don't think we did. Whoever is out there keeping up the fucking big league table of scums, whoever you are, and I dream of the day where we have a Wikipedia page where you can have that like uploaded properly. Yeah, then please update accordingly. But we also like to award a couple of decorations in this movie. The Kronstein Rosette to the hench person who went above and beyond, and the Goodnight Cross for the character on the side of good and righteousness that is MI6 for also going above and beyond. So, what do we think about our Kronstein Rosette here?
Teleporting cunt.
There's only one
the amazing
guy.
teleporting cunt, which is again
There's only one
once
guy.
you do the Wikipedia table, that's what you should put his name in as. Don't go and look it up on the cast list. Write him in as the amazing teleporting cunt.
It was such like we know that a Kronstein Rosette is going to happen because I paused it on Amazon and it had like the little actors in this scene bit, and it was just like Daniel Craig, photo of him wearing a suit at like the premiere, Javier Bardem, photo of him wearing a suit at the premiere, Judi Dench at the premiere, Alpha Phineas Kincaid at the premiere in a suit, and then just like Silva's henchman and his picture is like the blurriest screenshot of this scene. I'm like, Kronstein.
Yeah, that's a good marker.
This guy exists for like 2 seconds in the movie.
That's right.
I don't think there is a Goodnight Crossman. I don't think any of the
disagree.
good guys really
I
go.
disagree. I think there is one.
Really? Okay.
I think it's the gender psychiatrist who like asks Bond about jerking off. I think he really went the extra mile.
Okay, and I'd like to note that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I think my
It's the
major
thing that I
complaint
made up
about
in my
that
head.
as a concept is that it didn't
Yep.
happen, and you've made it
That's
up.
true.
And also, I think specifically withholding the Goodnight Award is in and of itself a statement. So I refuse.
That's fair.
To
If
I'm
you
with Dev on this one.
all right,
I'm spoiling my ballot.
I'm outvoted clearly. So we do not award a Goodnight Cross, nor do we award a Kaufman Star. I think so. That being the case, that is Skyfall. 50 years of James Bond, and we're getting close. I can feel it in my bones. We're getting so close to the moment when we finally fucking do it. We fucking take him off the board.
We're gonna do it, baby.
Oh,
It's
wait, 1
coming.
month to go, baby. It's good to be back.
How long have we been doing this? Too long. But soon we will.
Really long Craig
we will
years.
be free of him. So
We're
that's
gonna do
right,
it, baby.
This has been Kill James Bond. We have a Patreon. You can subscribe to it. We watch all types of other bullshit there. Our next bonus episode will
We really do.
will be the Jackie Chan movie, The Tuxedo. I'm so sorry. This has been Kill James Bond.
Thank you for listening to yet another episode of Kill James Bond. Oh, Abby's back, boys. We're all pleased about this. Kill James Bond will, of course, return in 2 weeks' time to talk about Spectre. But if 2 weeks is simply too long to wait, we do have a Patreon where we upload bonus episodes on those interstitial weeks. The next bonus episode is The Tuxedo. It's a Jackie Chan movie, like the early 2000s. Oh, it's fucking dire, boys. We've already recorded the episode. Oh, it's a fucking dire movie, but it's a decent episode. Speaking, of course, of our patrons, thank you to our £15 and above patrons, and those are Christine Fox, Fawkes Winchester, Jack Holmes, Paint McCullough, George Rohack, Thomas Oberhart, British Pterodactyl, Sol, Nikki, Phil West Music, Carolyn Tankersley, Max Kapinski, Rain, Benno Rice, Kit Devine, Amanda Rogda, Michael Lada, Max Gamenhart, Hell Bloodhands, Dread Pirate Robin, Jay Martindale, Kentucky Fried Commie, Ellie Without the E, Jack Bushell, Field Commissar Jen, Mothman, Big Titty Goth Girl, Tarp O, Timothy Pajorni, Trip, Sydney Steckel, Charlie in the Closet, Jenna and Paul, TARDIS in Paris, Elizabeth Cox, Zoe Shepherd, Finn Ross, Alfredo, Avery Darling, Philippa Smith. I make Devon say this out loud. Al Irwin, Wolfie, David Wickrameratna, Rael Leal, Richard Drum, Lucy Keeley, James Knapman, Millie Bon LeBon, Josh Simmons, Penny Banks, James Knapman, and Robbie Morgan. My personal promise to you that I will say all of these every time, no matter how ridiculous and unwieldy this ending gets. It was originally supposed to be quite a snappy thing. Oh, thank you ever so much. Kill James Bond is, of course, Alice, Abigail, and Devon. Our producer is Nate Bethay. Our podcast art is by Maddie Lubchansky. And our website is by Tom Allen. Yeah.